Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Me First Mornings, where we explore the tools, stories, and strategies that help you build resilience, start over after loss, and navigate life's twists and turns with clarity and confidence. Or at least that's the goal. All right. I'm your host, Patricia Rivera Wolfson, and I'm an intuitive coach, an energy practitioner, and a life strategist. And today, I got so excited I started coughing. Hold on. Woo! Okay. Today is Fun Friday. Yay! I love Fun Fridays. And oh my God. Give me a second. Welcome. I'm sure you guys are glad you're here for all of this coughing. That's so exciting. Glad you're not missing it. All right. So, today for Fun Friday, I've invited my good friend and small business financial coach, Sarah Finns. Yay. So, we're going to hang out a little bit together and then we're going to pull some cards and maybe we're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about money a little bit. We're going to ask the Oracle some money questions and see what advice it has for the collective. And so, I hope you'll stick around for that. In the meantime, let's get started with our little morning ritual. Grab a candle, have a drink. This is my coffee, but you can have tea, water, whatever. And we're going to light a candle and get things started, shall we? This is the one that wasn't working. Okay, hold on. I brought an extra today. Okay, there we go. It's not lighting. Okay, we got it. It's small, but it's there. Okay. Awesome. All right. Now, if you have essential oils, now might be the time to use them. I'm going to put on a little bit because my head's a little achy and I need my little head ease. This is what I use. I use all sorts of ones. I always change them. But this one's been pretty regular for me for a while. Okay. And I like to. Okay. Took a deep breath and didn't cough. That's a good sign. But I'm sure it's coming because we got to do 3 more deep breaths. Okay. So I'm just fixing the hair. There we go. Okay, we lit the candle. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. And I just want you to imagine as we're taking these deep breaths, I want you to do it very intentionally. So when you're breathing in through your nose, I want you to imagine bringing in all of the light, love, and beautiful energy that the universe has to offer and just bring it in. And then you're going to hold for 5 seconds. And in those 5 seconds, I want you to imagine that beautiful life force energy running through your body and dissipating any stuck, stagnant energy, just breaking it apart and dissolving it. And as you exhale, I want you to imagine releasing all of that broken up energy, that dissipated energy that you don't need anymore, and just exhale it out into the world and let Mother Nature take care of it and recycle it, make it something new and something useful, hopefully. I'm good. Okay, 3 deep breaths. Let's see how many coughs. Let's see how much I cough on this one. Okay, deep breath number 1. Let's go. Ready? And hold and release. It's part of the releasing. Okay, deep breath number 2. And hold and release. And this last deep breath, make it count. I want you to really bring in increasing the capacity of your lungs by stretching and bringing in the deepest breath, holding it and making it count, and then exhaling and blowing it all out. Okay, here we go. Okay. How does that feel? Good? Hey, Sean. Oh, thank you. I wish you a blessed day and a wonderful weekend as well. Thank you for watching. Thanks for being here. Okay. So we did our deep breaths and now we do a little stretching, okay? And we just, I'm sitting because we're doing this together, right? But you can stand, you can bend, you can stretch any part of your body that you are feeling tension or you're feeling that sort of stuck or stagnant energy. Or maybe you're feeling pain. Be really gentle if you're feeling pain, but if you are, breathe into that pain, right? So you stretch and then and then release. And as you're releasing, just imagine that pain leaving your body. It may or may not, but it takes time, takes patience, and a little bit of stretching and a little bit of releasing is better than nothing. And that's why we do this together. Because if you do nothing else during your day, you're taking a couple of minutes in the morning with me for us to do this together. Okay. And now we shake it out. Whew, guys. Oh my God, getting a hot flash. Whew. All right. Those of you who know, you know. Okay. Oh my God. All right. Could be spirit running through me. Maybe that's what it is. I love it. All right. Here we go. Now we're going to set our intentions for the day. I'm going to say my own prayer, calling in for my spiritual support team. And I ask that you do the same in whatever way feels connected to your spiritual beliefs. Or you can just listen to my prayer and let it count for you too, because that works as well. It's all in the intention. Okay, here we go. Divine Mother, Infinite Father, Creator, Ascended Masters, Archangels, Spirit Guides, and all beings of 100% pure white light, allow me to be a clear and open channel of your light and love without hesitation or ego. May the highest vibration of love and light connect with my higher self and release any and all things that no longer serve me. I ask that Saint Germain and his infinitely powerful violet flame burn away the things that no longer serve myself or humanity and hold us back from our divine existence. Thank you, thank you, thank you for helping me to set an intention that is in alignment with my highest good for the highest and greatest good of all. Thank you for showing us all the signs and synchronicities and messages in nature, music, movies, through the cards that I pulled today, and through the words of others today and always. I appreciate you. I serve you. I'm grateful for any wisdom that you may have for me or the collective on this day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So be it, and so it is. Okay, woo! So take a minute to set your intention or sit with your GPS word, whatever feels connected for you. Just take a moment so that you can sort of set yourself up for the day. And while you do that, I'm going to remind you to please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Me First TV, if you're not already watching it. And if you are, go subscribe right now and ding that notification bell so that you can be notified when I go live. And please remember that my personal readings are open, sessions are open. So you can book a personal reading, a strategy session, or a couples reading. We can do cards, we can just do coaching, whatever it is that you like. Go ahead and book yourself an appointment on my calendar. Go to calendly.com/jumpstart for change. And you can find the link in the description here. And don't forget, I do also have the free Me First Guide to Transformation. If you have not received your guide yet, then go ahead and you can download that. You'll get on my email list and get some other juicy stuff that I send to my people. So you can go ahead and do that. I encourage you. Okay, so now that we've taken care of business, it is time to invite today's special guest onto the show. She's, hold on. Whew. All right, let's try that again. I'd like to invite today's special guest onto the show, my dear friend and an important member of my support team, Sarah Finns. Yay!
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, yay, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can.
We're good. Yay!
Sorry about the fuzzy. I'm a little fuzzy in the background here.
It's Ghost Sarah today.
Yes.
It's all good. It's all good. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I enjoyed your intro and setting my intention and love it.
Yes, it's something that I try to do every day. When I started this so that I could so that I would force myself to do my own ritual because I don't do it for myself. Not that I don't do it for myself, but it really if I'm doing it with someone or doing it for someone, I'm more likely to show up. And so that's why I do this, because I'm like, maybe other people out there are like me too, and they need someone to like prompt them, and so they can just tune in and watch me. Although I'm not on a regular time every day because my mornings are so crazy. I never know when I'm going to make it, but it is in the mornings. I have been able to make it every morning so far.
Yeah. It's been great.
So I just want to give you guys a little bit of background in case you didn't see the show yesterday. I talked about Sarah yesterday, and I talked about her in from the perspective of how she supported me during a really tough time. And we talked about it on the show, and talking about how, this idea of independence, where people have to do everything on their own and just figure things out on their own, is garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Total garbage. And we've been sold this lie because we need to, if we get together and start talking and start working together, well, then change happens, and nobody wants that. So part of my mission has been to really encourage people to learn how to ask for help, to be okay with asking for help, to shift that perspective that it makes you a bad person or a weak person or a stupid person or whatever negative adjective that you give to yourself for not knowing how to do something or not being able to do something. Sarah and I talk about this all the time. I have ADHD, and so there's certain things that I know what to do, but I have a hard time actually doing it. And so when I have the support of friends or professionals, then I don't know why, but my brain is like, oh, I can do it now. It's like this little like, ching, like it's this little switch that goes off. And suddenly I go from, I don't know what to do, to somebody saying, hey, can I do that with you? And I'm like, oh my God, yes. And suddenly I know what to do. But sometimes you don't know what to do. And that's where Sarah came into my life, which was after Scott passed away, and because of the nature of how we divided our responsibilities in our relationship, he took care of the financial stuff, and I took care of lots of other things. So when he passed away, I then had the responsibility of having to figure out the financial situation and the taxes and budgeting and all these things that I knew about. I knew we had investments. I knew that we paid our bills. Like, I know how to do that. I lived on my own until I was 25, so until I was 20, no, until I was 30. I was like 25. No, I mean, I moved out at 25. That was that, but I didn't have the consistent responsibility. And so Sarah was my friend, is my friend, and an amazing person who then said, hey, would you like some help? And I was reluctant at first, but I really was stuck because I was like, I need help because I have to do this. And Sarah came over to my house and still does, and helps me sort of learn about budgeting, taught me, well, not just taught me, but one of the things that Sarah has is templates that she uses for a small business and stuff. And so I was able to get those templates and use them. And I belong to your program.
Yeah, I was going to say you were using them already for your business. So
yes,
you had that started already. And so it was kind of, I guess, looking more at the big picture as opposed to just your business side of things.
Yes. I was able to use the small business sort of lessons that you had given within the program. And then I asked you for more support because I felt completely overwhelmed, and you were amazing. So why don't you tell us a little bit about so everybody knows kind of what you do with small businesses and with your templates, because they've been so incredibly helpful for me. Unbelievably helpful, because now I have a place that I can focus and I can see what's happening with my money. I have more control and more just confidence. I mean, confidence really was the biggest big game changer.
Yeah. So I support coaches and wellness professionals in learning to manage their business finances easily. And so how I got into this, just to give a little quick background,
Please,
I
go
went
ahead.
to school for accounting. I got my CPA. license, I went and worked in public accounting and other accounting roles for about 10 years. And then when my daughter was born, she just turned 16. So, a while
Great.
back, I went back to school and pursued my passion for nutrition. And so I got my health coaching certification. I opened that business and I worked in that capacity for about 10 years. And what I discovered was that so many of my fellow health coaches didn't know what they needed to do in terms of the finance side of their business. They weren't sure, what they needed to keep track of, what they needed to be looking at. And a lot of them were struggling to, either make or keep the income that they wanted because they weren't really looking at their numbers, right? So what I realized is that's my strong suit, right? Because I saw it from an accountant perspective, in the corporate world, but also in from the perspective of having my own business. And so I started supporting friends around that and kind of
That's
teaching
how
them.
it starts.
Yeah, that's how it started, teaching them how to do things and keep track. And then I realized that I could put something simple together to kind of help on a bigger scale. And what I've also found is that there's so much you mentioned like resistance around looking at your numbers, and there's a lot of like emotion that goes into it. And, especially for women, we've been taught that, maybe we're not smart enough or we're not good enough at math or whatever it happens to be, that we just kind of don't want to look at it. And so I wanted to kind of bridge the gap between this overwhelm and really showing other coaches how simple it could be to just look at what you need to look at and put aside the noise that you don't need. Because, I was running into people who were using QuickBooks, for example, which is a pretty robust, accounting
Yes.
system, not necessary for coaches starting out. So I wanted to design something that would help kind of get your ducks in a row, make you feel comfortable so that as you grow, you can kind of take those next steps. And so that's how I designed my program. And, I also do one-on-one coaching as well to help people implement that, but also any other thing that they're struggling with as it relates to their business finances, putting processes in place, things of that nature. So pricing, offers, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, one of the other things I want to mention that you do is within your group, you have that monthly budgeting.
Yes, money dates.
Money dates.
Money
Okay.
dates. Yes.
Now, this is super important. Can you tell us about those money dates? Because they are so, so important, and I think so valuable.
Yeah, I think one of the number one things you can do to get started in more regularly looking at your finances or paying attention is to create like a regular time money date, I like to call them, where you look at your finances. So I built this into my program because I didn't want to just have people, purchase it and then go on their way. I wanted to really help them have a plan to continue to use it. And so every month I host, it's just it's like a co-working session basically on Zoom. And the intention is that you bring your finances, your statements and whatnot, you bring your templates and you take that time to get everything entered and get kind of up to speed for the month. And so I run those monthly and it's included in the program. And it's a great way for people to hold themselves accountable. The dates are planned out, months and months in advance. So you could put them on your calendar and work around them. And so, yeah, and that's great. I love that part of my program too, because people come live and it's so great to interact with clients on a regular basis instead of just,
and they can ask you questions.
Yes.
Some things like if they don't know how to do something, then they have you present. I mean, it's so invaluable
Exactly.
to have you present, just be like, oh, what do I do with this? Or what is this called? Or how do I categorize this?
Exactly. Yep.
And, because of your accounting background, I know that that you have the correct information and you've been so good at just creating consistency. And that's something that I talk about so much on Me First is the practice, right? You have to practice being the person you want to be, practice, making the changes that you need to make. And with money, as Sarah was saying, so much is connected to the relationship with money. And that's also what I find you do differently from other people is that you're very aware of the energetic relationship with money and that money date aspect, which, I've seen other coaches talk about money dates and do money dates and encourage you to do. But number one, I like that it's together. So automatically I know I'm not going to be alone. And I know that if I have questions, I have somebody to reach out to. And it gives me sort of that consistency that for me, I don't have on my own. Like I can't, like I really struggle with making a money date on my own. But if I know that I have the group or if I have you coming, then I know that I'm going to get things done. And
Right.
that is such an important piece for me and for so many. And I really want to normalize like needing support or asking for support. And I think especially for your program, it's so unbelievably affordable and it can be a real game changer.
Mhm.
It's been a game changer for me because of my level of comfort with money now. I've always been like I never had a terrible relationship with money. Was more so like that the management of it, me feeling like I was going to make a mistake or I was going to
Right.
do it wrong or I was going to like, I don't know what I'm doing. So am I going to do something that then I'm going to end up having consequences that I have to pay
Mhm.
for later? Right. Or even not, because I didn't have that day to day relationship with money, like it was just like, oh, it shows up when I need it,
Right.
or it's not there. Oops, like, but really getting like dating your money, being present, showing up for it, saying, okay, where do you belong? You belong here. Okay. And then that awareness changed everything for me.
It's also easier to make more of it when you're connected to it on a more regular basis, right? Because you're, like you're saying, you're kind of dating it, you're cultivating a relationship with it, and you're not just looking at it like when you need it or when you're missing it or when you need more of it or when it's like a stressful kind of situation.
Yeah.
So I
You
think,
talk about that, like
yeah.
the actual relationship with money. It's like if you were in a relationship with money, and I'll probably do a whole episode on that at
Mm.
some point. But when you're in a relationship with money, like how are you talking about it, right? Like if you're in a relationship with somebody and you talked about them the way you talk about money, how would your relationship go? Would it
Mhm.
be a good relationship? Would they appreciate what you say about
Yeah.
them? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a great exercise to do. So I think that would be really beneficial if you led that type of exercise because it can really bring a lot of awareness to how your relationship is with money and how you would want it to change for the better.
I find that it's one of the most useful things that I tell people, like when I really and I use that for everything. It's like, what is your relationship
Right.
with the thing that's important to you, whether it's your career or with money or with whatever. Like, how are you thinking about it? How are you talking about it? And that's why I think it's so important to, if you don't have a good relationship with money, or if you don't have, or maybe you haven't had good examples in your life of what it's
Right.
like to work with money, it's always been an issue for yourself or for your family. That's why I really encourage people to go out and get support and talk to somebody who thinks differently than you, who has a different set of expertise, that knows and is more comfortable with money. Like just like you would go to a relationship therapist
Mhm.
if you're having trouble in your relationship. I would say, Sarah, that you're like a money therapist.
I mean, also another thing I want to add is that nobody's born knowing how to manage their money.
Right.
It's just you have to learn it either through courses or whatever. So, if you're a coach out there or whatever it is that you do for, your job, you probably had to go through some sort of training, right?
Yeah.
So, I think there's a lot of pressure for us to prove that kind of we already know how to handle it. But in reality, I mean, even myself, growing up, my family didn't really talk much about money. It just wasn't, we had enough, we didn't have a ton. It just wasn't talked about. And it wasn't until I started living on my own and realized, through my accounting knowledge, but also just through like day-to-day living that wasn't the way to do it. Something had to change. And
Right.
so, even going through all those things, like we're just not born with that knowledge. So, all that to say, don't feel bad about something that you don't know, or maybe but you're not comfortable with, or you want to clarify. So, find the resources. And of course, I'm happy to be a resource, but there are many resources out there to help you, learn what you need to know about managing your money.
Yeah. And as you said in the beginning, there's such a resistance
Hmm.
to money and getting, and even looking at it. It's one of those things like we avoid it because
Hmm.
we're afraid of it, because it's like, eh, whatever information is there. It's like people who avoid going to the doctor because they don't want to be told that they have an
Right.
illness. It's like that doesn't take away the illness. Like missing, not going to the appointment, avoiding it doesn't take away what's actually happening
Hmm.
in in the foundation, right? And so it's really important to get that foundational education and information, and don't be afraid to not know. Get comfortable not knowing, get comfortable asking questions. That's been the biggest learning curve for me during this time. And like I said, because you know, I've always been one of those people that just kind of figures it out, and it doesn't matter what it is. I'm like, every job I ever had was trial by fire. I
Mhm.
just like started and they were like, okay, go figure it out. And I've always figured it out. So to get into a position where I'm like, I don't know if I can just figure this out was really hard for me. And so I'm speaking to the people out there that feel the same, where it's like, you feel like you should know, or
Right.
you think that you should be better, or you think that you should just figure it out on your own. You shouldn't. That's
Right.
not, you don't have to. And not only do you not have to, it's your responsibility to find the path that will get you to learn and understand that part of your life better, right? And so it's like, if you're not feeling well, you go to the doctor, right? And you don't try to figure it out. I'm sure my body will figure it out. Well, yes, in many cases your body can figure it out. But when you're at that point where you're like, something, I need to do something, then at some point you have to call a professional or call in for backup or support.
Mhm.
And I just want to encourage people to continue to do that, because it's been a game changer for me, even just in my own confidence, right?
Mhm.
When it's like I bought my laptop this week from my business account.
Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. I started my business account thanks to Sarah, who told me I should separate my business and my personal.
Yes, that's another takeaway. So another key takeaway, keep them separate. It's easier to keep track of everything when you have a separate bank account.
Yes. And so Sarah helped me like separate all my things and learn what was there and what wasn't. So one-on-one coaching with her, I highly recommend, because it was so helpful. But at the very least, the program will give you the templates that you can start, and she explains them so well. And like I said, there's the money dates, and I'm only encouraging you to join her group because I can tell you how beneficial it's been for me to be a part of that whole program and to be a part of Sarah's expertise and gentleness, right? Like, also who you ask to help you makes a difference, right? If
Yeah.
somebody's going to help you and they're going to make you feel like crap for not knowing and be like, you don't know this, that's ridiculous, like, what do you mean, right? Then that doesn't make you feel safe around money, and it doesn't improve the relationship. So you need to find the support that resonates with you at your level and gives you what you need. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe if you're the type of person who needs a coach to yell at you, well, then that's maybe a different person. That's not me or Sarah. I don't
Right.
think we're
Right. And I think that that also extends to, like if you have a tax accountant, for example, that's like, I help you set up your finances to get ready for taxes, but I'm not a tax preparer, right? So if you
right,
have
right.
a tax preparer or if you have a financial advisor, you want to make sure it's someone that you're comfortable talking to and asking questions to and being perfectly honest with, because if not, then that's going to affect the situation with your money as well. So, anyone that you're working with in terms of your money, make sure that you're comfortable with that person enough to ask all those questions.
Yes, that's so important, because like through the people that I've worked with, I've leaned away from people who I don't feel comfortable.
Mhm.
And I've also, practiced and gotten used to just being uncomfortable, asking questions and
Right.
feeling stupid, which we all need to do. But let me tell you a secret. So many things, like what helped me get over some of the humps that I went through, was realizing that nobody knows what they're doing. They just might have more confidence in calling and asking those questions,
Mhm.
right? Like, obviously experts are different, but I had somebody help me with like my health insurance at one point, and I found that they didn't know any more than I did. They didn't feel guilty or ashamed to ask the questions and to
Yeah.
not know. So they were like asking the person on the phone, "Oh, how does this work? Oh, I don't know. Can you explain that better?" And I was like, "Oh my God, like, I can ask those questions."
Yep.
But I didn't think about that because I was like, they're going to think I'm stupid, right? Because that was just my own limiting belief and my own sort of block to my evolution was, like, you have to decide whether or not your personal evolution is more important than sort of what I was going to say is like looking good, but it's not about looking good, but it's about sort of like feeling stupid. Like,
Right.
are you okay with feeling stupid in order to advance? And I
Right.
say feeling stupid because I don't use the word stupid very often, but I know that for me, it's like a stab to the heart. I don't like to feel
Mhm.
dumb.
I think most of us feel that way, and
Yeah,
it can prevent us from like you said, asking the questions that we need to ask or getting the support that we need to get because you don't want to put yourself in the position to look dumb.
right. So that somebody's
Mhm.
like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you don't know that at 50." And it's like, "Well, I can't believe I don't know it at 50 either, but here we are, and it's getting used to that discomfort of not knowing
Yeah.
and being okay, like with saying that that's just not my expertise. That's just not what I put my time and energy to.
Mhm.
Up until now, I didn't have this experience and now I'm getting better. Like it's all
Right.
about that sort of growth mindset and learning.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
Sorry, I'm laughing because I got a little notification that says add effects using hand gestures because I keep doing hand gestures and my computer's like,
I'm the same.
okay. All right. So that was our little chit chat about money and what Sarah does. And now I want to do a little fun stuff, which is I want to pull some cards. I think it'd be fun for us to pull cards together.
Great.
I'm going to use the first ones I'll pull. I'll use the tarot, which is the Luna Soul Tarot. Oh, I wonder if I can reverse that so it doesn't look backwards. Mirror camera. Hold on.
Aha!
Yay!
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right now.
the Luna Soul Tarot deck. I love this deck. I've started kind of playing with tarot cards. I know, Sarah, you know that I started
Mhm.
um, so what should we ask? What do you think, Sarah? What should we ask the cards?
I don't know. I mean, do you want to have a specific money question or is there
Well,
a
let's see. Let's see. What's like maybe a money concern that people have? Like, I don't know if I want to get into like
Yeah.
big deal. How's the economy?
Yeah, we'll keep it micro.
let's keep it personal.
Yeah. I mean, what about something around paying yourself? That's what
Ooh,
just popped into my mind. It's something that I don't think a lot of us necessarily maybe pay attention to, especially when our business is starting. I don't know if there's a question around that. Like, I don't know. It's important to establish that, I think, right away when you're starting your business or as you're going through your business. Is there a question that we could
I'm
ask
thinking.
around
Um,
that?
well, it all comes down to the same thing I find, which is worth, like our own sense of worth
Mm-hmm.
and putting ourselves like feeling that we're worth investing in, especially when starting a business. You sacrifice so much. And it doesn't matter what type of business, whether it's an online business, a consulting business, coaching, whatever, or even a brick and mortar. When we're starting, it's like we sacrifice everything for it to work and we forget about ourselves.
Right.
And I think that a little bit of that comes from a fear and lack. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe the first question could be something, and how can we um, um, release the resistance to receiving money?
Perfect.
That's the first thing that came. Like,
Mhm.
release the resistance.
That's
How do
good.
we release the resistance to being paid? Because that's really what it comes down to. Like,
Yeah.
I have a client who gets paychecks and doesn't cash them. Like, I'm like, that's a money block, baby. You got like stacks of money,
Yes.
of checks that you don't put in your
Yes.
account. That is a
Yes.
money block.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have stacks of money that you've been given and you're not depositing it so that you can see it flow, you are preventing this flow of money and you need to work
Mm-hmm.
towards that. Okay. My mom has a question. What does spirit want us to know about money this week?
That's a
Okay,
great one too.
that's a good one too. So first we'll ask, what can we do to release our resistance to receiving money? Okay, that's the first one. We'll ask the oracle. Or not the tarot cards. Okay, here we go. Ooh, Page of Discs. Okay. Now, in this deck, the discs are pentacles,
Okay.
right? So it's discs instead of pentacles. And pentacles is all about earthly possessions or earthly things. So it's the manifested, it's the body, your health, your stuff, your business. So anything tangible. That's what I was looking for, the word in my head. Anything tangible, anything in the physical world is represented by pentacles. Okay. And so this is the Page of Pentacles. Now, pages pages are like youthful, young. It's like the beginning of, like, if you're an intern, you're like a page where it's like you're just starting out with all of these, exciting new kind of, you're off on a new kind of adventure. And that's a little bit of what this tells me. A little bit of releasing that resistance is understanding, like having a beginner's mindset
Mhm.
to your money, where it's like, I remember when I first started making money, it was so exciting, because I had never made money before. So it didn't matter what money entered into my bank account. It was like everything was exciting, right? I got a check. Ooh, I was able to like take out $10 from my account and it was mine. I didn't have to ask my parents. Sorry. Oh, this is fun. Damn it. All right. So yes. So I think a little bit of a beginner's mindset.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's a good suggestion. Anything else? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, it ties into what we were talking about before, right? Like not to be afraid to ask questions, not to be afraid to get help, knowing that you're not born knowing accounting. So I think it ties in really well.
And not to be afraid of
Yeah.
being a student.
Yes, not to be
Like a
afraid of being a
page is a
student.
student.
Mhm.
So I feel that strongly too, that it like, don't be afraid to be a student. You're just learning
Mhm.
how to build that relationship with money, how to receive that money. And so have that open mind and have that sort of student enthusiasm, and you're learning. So you
Yeah.
don't beat yourself up because you don't know as a student. Like in class, you're not like, God, I don't know all of this
Yeah.
stuff, right? Like, you assume you're not knowing because you're learning.
Right.
Same thing with money. And maybe that will help release some of that resistance. Okay, let's ask. Wait, you know what? We're gonna get a little clarification card because that's fun. I'm gonna get a little clarification card from the Oracle deck on that one. Just see if there's anything else that Spirit wants to tell us about releasing that resistance. But I like that because that makes total sense to me. Oh, all right. Jumping. Here's the card, Loyal Heart. Okay, and that's just for anybody who's interested in the numerology, 35,
Mhm.
which is 35. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 is the number of abundance, for those of
Ah,
you who don't know, also infinity, right? And there's something to that too. When you think about money is energy and it just needs to be circulated, right? And here, loyal heart. So back to relationships. Like, what is your relationship to your money? Be loyal to what you need from your money, looking at it from a supportive perspective, right? Like, you have people in your life that you love, like your family and your friends. You have them because they mean something to you, because you have this beautiful reciprocal relationship, and you're loyal to the people that you love because of your connection and because of that reciprocity. And I think that's a little bit about what this card is telling us. Have a bit of a beginner's mind as
mhm.
per the page of discs, and also be committed, right? Be committed to that relationship and understand your relationship with your money is your relationship with your energy. And as you give, you receive. And if you
Mhm.
can keep in that flow, then that's like the universe doing its job, right? That's like the way it's supposed to work. You're not supposed to stop it. You're not supposed to hold on to it. You're supposed to give it freely, just like you give your love freely to the people that you love.
Something just popped into my head that I wanted to share. It's like related, but a little bit off the tangent. But
Nice.
as it relates to keeping your like being loyal to your money, keeping it physically organized is really, I mean, this is something that like it seems silly, but it really can make a big difference. So like if you're the kind of person that has your money like kind of thrown in your bag, put it in an organized place, a wallet, a folder, whatever, an envelope, like even keep it somewhere nice so that you're kind of cultivating that loyalty to it. But that, I talk about that a lot because I think it's such a little thing that can make a really big impact with the way you relate to your money. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
couldn't agree more. I
yeah.
think it's all about like the little things, like as if you were dating someone, like how do you treat them, right? How are
Mhm.
you treating your money, right? Is it organized? Does it look good? Is it all crumpled up in your bag and
Mhm.
you don't know where it is, right? Just
Right,
like those checks hidden somewhere in your house where it's
right.
like, I don't know, right? I like that. I like that addition. I'm gonna read the Loyal Heart. from the Oracle deck because I like to always read a little bit. Essential meanings: fidelity, loyalty, and devotion. I like that. We can be devoted to the energy because, see, money is the byproduct of your devotion to yourself and to your purpose, right? Like, as in the sense of the reciprocal relationship that money gives you, right? As you take care of yourself, as stand in your purpose and do what you need to do, money is a byproduct of that. Like, it's not that we have to live for money.
Right.
It's that money is there to support us living. And I think that sometimes we get confused because we've made money so important because we can't live without it in this society. Okay, so here we go. The message: evidence of loyalty will appear in your life. Others will prove they're faithful to you, and you will in turn commit fully to them. There is a sure and abiding certainty in your heart. Know that spirit is always loyal to you. No matter the outer circumstances in your life, trust and have faith, for you are eternally loved, always divinely protected, and divinely directed. And they actually have a prosperity message, which I'll read. Your long-term loyalty to your goals is becoming evident in the world of conditions where your aspirations for success assume form in reality. Success is finally taking shape. If you are loyal to your dreams, faithful to your plans, while remaining flexible and devoted to serving others, you will be shown proof of your true prosperity. I mean, like, this is a time of joyful celebration of spirit, your manifesting partner. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do, we'll ask the question my mom wanted. What does spirit want us to know about money this week? Okay, so let's find out, what's the energy of money this week? What are we looking at? And we'll start with the tarot cards again, and then we'll clarify with the oracle, because that's fun. Actually, I watch a lot of tarot readers, and they usually do it the other way. They start with the oracle and then confirm with tarot, but I start with tarot because I do. All right, let's see. So what does spirit want us to know about money this week? Tell me. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this like new Fandango
Fancy.
way. So fancy. I've been practicing. Oops. Okay. Six of Swords. Okay, here we go. The Six of Swords. Well, all you got to do is look at the picture to know it's a little bit of a precarious position this week. You see Six of Swords.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Six of Swords is thoughts or information, right? And so what this tells me is that, it is a little bit like we have to, each one of these can be a thought, a concern, or information, right? And so what I feel from this is that we kind of have to tiptoe around our money situation this week. And we're moving in the right direction. Like, you see, she's moving this way. So there's relief here, to get on that little island. But in the meantime, you really have to be careful where you're stepping. And so what that tells me is that this week, be mindful of where you're spending your money, be mindful of the energy between you and your spending, right? So it's not about holding on to money, and it's not about just trying to get rid of it while you have it, because sometimes it feels that way, but it's more about conscious spending and making conscious choices to invest your time and money into, right? So it's like, if you're going to spend the money, just like if you were, in a relationship with money, you don't just send that person that you're in a relationship with to do whatever, right? Like, you're like, just go and do whatever. No, like, you're like, I'm going to send you on a beautiful dinner, right? And so money supports you in that beautiful dinner that's important. I'm going to go have a celebratory dinner this week, and money is going to support me to do that. Great, right? I have 7 things in my Amazon account that I don't really need. Maybe that one, you're like, I don't know if I should spend the money on that. You know what I mean? Right? So it's really about making conscious choices.
I love that.
And I'm going to do a little oracle card for that, and see a little confirmation or a little sort of more information from the oracle deck about the energy of money this week. Oh, my mom says from the last thing, I love money and I circulate it a lot. Also love to make it. Me too, Mom. Me too.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. So let's see what the oracle has to say. We're going to do the fancy thing. Ooh, oh, okay. It came out right away. It's the same card that came out yesterday. Hold on. I'm going to do it, which is very interesting, but clearly the message that needs to be driven home. Okay. Okay. All right. So I pulled out 3. So the first one is poised. All right. And so again, what this tells me, it's about making good decisions, right? Poised is like this sort of sense of alignment,
Mhm.
right? And here, just for anybody who's interested, that 448 is a good number. Might be significant for some people, but being poised is sort of like being mindful, being conscious, making conscious choices. I think this is a great card in support of that last one. And then the other 2 also are supportive. And look, I have this one that says mending. Okay. And I think that's what we're all doing, right? We are all mending our relationship with money. I
Mhm.
think as a whole, I mean, I'm sure that there are people out there who have a lot of money, but having a lot of money doesn't mean you have a good relationship with
No.
money, right?
Mhm.
Just like people who've been married for 20 years doesn't mean that they have good marriages,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and the opposite, if you're still working on, making more and maybe you're struggling a little to make it, it doesn't mean that you're have an awful relationship either.
Exactly. It means like you're learning or
You're
you're
meant right.
dating. It's the beginning,
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
so that I really like that mending card. And like 5 plus 2 over here is 7, and I find that 7 is also in tarot, 7 is the number of reflection, right? If you get like a 7 of something, it's usually like take a moment to reflect.
Mhm.
And so I think that that's also like a good little note for this week is reflect on your relationship with money, reflect on how you're thinking about it, how you're talking about it. Everything we've been talking about, I think, applies for this week, because every day you have to work towards that relationship, just
Right.
like in your relationships in real life. Like every day you're making conscious choices about how to treat the people in your life. Every day you're making a conscious choice about how to treat money or how you look at money. And that's what we need to practice. And the other thing that's here for this week is a fork in the road. All right. And so what that tells me, and oh, I love that the number is number 13 and 3 plus 1. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I wasn't looking at it backwards. 3 plus 1 is 4. And in tarot, 4 is the number of foundation, right?
Mm.
So when you're building a new foundation, that's what 4 represents. It represents, like, if you start seeing 4s, it's like an indication of your whether you need to like work on your foundation, or it's giving you a thumbs up that you're creating a new foundation. But I think with this, a fork in the road is about, we are all in a fork in the road, right? Globally, nationally, and personally, I think we're all going through these incredible changes. And this fork in the road is you making a decision to go like this way or that way in your foundational aspect of with money, in your foundational relationship with money. So if you really want to start making changes, then this is the opportunity to start making a different choice, making different choices of how you look at it, making different choices as how you approach it. So this is your opportunity to make the change right now for a new foundation, a new relationship with money, while you're healing that relationship and making mindful and conscious choices as you do that, because it's all a little precarious, but we're going to get there, because 6 is also about balance. So this is the 6 of swords. 6 is also about balance, like 3 and 3, right? That's the idea. And so and look, she's balancing.
Mhm.
And so I think that's part of it, is that this week we need to learn, once again, being mindful of our choices. Where are we spending? Where are we saving? What are you putting your time and attention and money to? Like,
Mhm.
what jobs are you giving money? Is it a good and important job? Or are you just throwing it out for, a $10 sale? Like, and not that it's a bad thing, but
Mhm.
are you spending money to just spend?
Mhm.
Are you just making frivolous purchases? Are you just ordering things at 3 o'clock in the morning on Amazon? Which, no judgment. If you do, it's okay. Right. And if you have the financial ability to do that, that's okay. But even if you do have the money, think about where you're spending your time and energy and how you're spending money.
Mhm.
Oh, I like that. Okay. So we're going to wrap it up because we've been here for almost an hour. You probably have to go. But let's wrap it up and just tell people how they can potentially invest in your program so that if they want some help with being a little bit more conscious and maybe want to join your group, which I think would be amazing if they need a little bit of that support, can you let them know where they can find your information?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me at sarahfins.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Easy Business Bookkeeping. And I'm hosting a workshop coming up on June 17th. If anyone's interested in learning a bit about, some of the roadblocks that I see holding people back and what they can do to move forward, you can sign up for that. It's free. It's sarahfins.com/success. I don't know if
Let me edit that
you
so I
want me to drop that in the
Yes, go ahead.
chat.
I'm
Let's
putting
see.
it on the, is that it? Can you see it? It's correct, /success?
Oh, yep, that's right. sarahfins.com/success. And that's where you can sign up for the workshop. But you can find me also, on social media. And I do have a Facebook group. For those of you who are on Facebook, it's called the Easy Business Bookkeeping Community. The name of my program is Easy Business Bookkeeping. So that's why those are the names for that. And those are my Instagram handles.
Hold on, I'm going to put it in.
Okay.
Easy Business Bookkeeping Community. I just want people to see it.
Yes, right.
The Easy Business Bookkeeping Community.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so you can join her on Facebook if you guys want, and that's a free group, right?
It's a free group. Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. So if you guys just want to have a little more proximity to Sarah.
Yeah. And the URL for my program, if you're interested in learning more about that, is sarahfins.com/self-paced, because the program itself is
Self-paced, is that
right.
together?
No hyphen. Yeah. Self-paced.
So I'll show that and just let me know that it's correct.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, it says .com. Okay, but you can't. Let's try that again.
We get the gist, I think, right?
Yes, sarahfins.com/self-paced, which I highly recommend you getting that program. I highly recommend you joining it because it really was life-changing for me to have Sarah's support and her system, because I didn't have a system. I don't know how to do systems, and she is very good at that.
Well, thank you.
And also a dear, dear friend. And I'm just so grateful for you and our friendship, because
me too.
God, it's helped me so much.
I'm glad.
So many
I'm always here.
I know. Oh, someone's saying good afternoon from the Netherlands.
Oh, hello,
Namira. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. Please go ahead and check out any of the links we have if you're interested, or if you're just joining the show now. Go back to the beginning and get all the juicy information that we have for you. And aside from that, today's Friday, which means have a great weekend, everyone. And I will see you next week between, Monday through Friday, as sometime in the morning. And I'll have a lot more me first foundational practices to help you get through life a little bit easier. My mom says, thanks, Sarah, for helping out Trish when she needed it the most.
You're very welcome.
All right, everyone. Have a